Hey gang, today we're going to do Landslide by Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks singing that beautiful song. What's often not noticed is the absolutely beautiful guitar playing that Lindsey Buckingham does and the really lyrical solo. So today we're going to go over the solo primarily, although I'll show you the basic picking pattern. You can see I've got a capo on the 3rd fret. If you want to sound like the record, that's the way to do it for this one, okay? So to play the solo you don't need it, but to play the picking pattern, you do. Okay? So we'll see in just a second. Okay gang, let's go over this note for note. First things first, make sure you download the tab where I have the basic picking pattern and of course, the solo tabbed out for you. It's going to make your life a lot easier. For the sound, for the background, Lindsey Buckingham was using a 12-string, so obviously you want that clean. If you're using an electric, keep it clean. Better yet, use an acoustic to play the backing. For the solo, if you're using an electric, which I think you should, but you can obviously play it on an acoustic, I just have I have it clean, but I also have just a tiny amount of reverb. So that's going to help the sound. If you listen to it, it's got some reverb on it, a healthy amount. Okay, let's get to the song now. So first of all, the song is in B flat, and you will notice that I'm capoing here at the 3rd fret. That means a B flat can be fingered like a G chord. Okay? And over most of the song, it goes from between what would be a C chord here, which with a capo on the 3rd is an E flat, walking down through, that's an inversion of G, or B flat in this case, right, to an A minor 7. Okay, which in this case, if you capo on a 3rd, would be a C minor 7. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the capo position now when we talk about this. Briefly, I want to go over the Travis picking pattern that's being played. Remember, you have this in the tab, so that's going to help a lot. So over most of the solo, in fact all of it until the very end where there's a D7 chord thrown in, it goes like this. All right, and so with that, we're just starting from a C chord. Going to a G chord, but it's a somewhat different inversion. You've got a B on the bass, and you've got a D, actually it's 2nd fret on the bass, and a D or a 3rd fret on the 2nd string. Okay, so that's the voicing. And then an open, this would be like a A minor 7 chord. All right. So, and the picking pattern is 5, I'll talk about the strings now. It's 5, 3, 4, 2. 5, 3, 4, 2, 5, 3, 4, 2, 5, 3, 4, 2, 5, 3, 4, 2. 5, 3, 4, 2, 5, 3, 4, 2, 5, 3, 4, 2, 5, 3, 4, 2. All right, and that's the basics. Now he does an awful lot more. He's a great guitarist, but that should be enough to get you going. Let's move on to the solo. So for the solo, this is all in B flat, as I said before, and we're going to play it from a closed position, so you can take off the capo if you want. I'm going to leave it on to remind us that we're playing in kind of a funky key. We're going to play everything out of the B flat major scale in the 10th position, with maybe an exception of a note or two. So that happens to be, the root is on the 5th string, 13th fret, and the scale looks like this. right, so I had to go out of position to get that second octave, but you get the picture. If you want to think of a chord, you can either think of, if you're really into caged, it's the C position, or you can think of this B flat major triad that's here at the top, and that's the 10th on the first, 11th on the second, 10th on the third. All right. Okay, let's do this line by line. There's really only 2 lines. So here's the first. So we're going to start from the 11th on the 2nd fret, play the 13th, slide up to the 15th, and hit the 13th on the 1st. Very calm and open. All right, now we're going to bend the 13th a whole step and play the 13th. Now, what I like to do here on the next one is pre-bend that 13th on the 2nd and come down to the 11th. Okay, here's the last part. All right, and that is a little bit interesting. I think it comes from his being a fingerstyle player. He skips a string, which is something that a lot of players don't do. Gives a nice little lyrical ending to it. So we're going to bend the 11th up a whole step, come down, play the 11th, play the 4th string, 12th fret, and now what I do is I simply pick it, but playing the 12th to the 13th, or I hammer on, I guess. So 12th to the 13th and then 10th on the 3rd. You can, if you want to, bend it, and he may do that on the record. That sounds really nice too. Here's that whole line. Okay, here's the second line. It's very similar to the first, but it is a little bit different, and I think that gives it its really melodic character. Beautiful line. Okay, so here we go. Here's the second line. Very, very nice. Okay, starts out the same way. Now the bend on this one is actually a little bit different than the first line, so you'll want to listen to the record or the demo to get that, okay? Again, very simple bends, a whole step bend on the 13th first string, and the same thing on the second. Now the last part is a hold on the 10th. So we're going to take the 10th on the 3rd string, bend that up a whole step, and then play this. Now the interesting thing is we've just bent this 10th up to the 12th essentially, and so if we play, that's an E flat arpeggio, right? Of course we're not playing that, we're bending up to it, so here we go, the 10th up all the way, and then, so the first 2 notes are 11 on the 2nd, 11 on the 1st, and then coming down that B flat arpeggio, we've got 10th on the 1st, 11th on the 2nd, and 12th on the 3rd. Okay, here's the last line. We're just going to walk up and down the B flat major scale. Okay, so it starts down here on the 12th on the 4th string, play the 13th, 10th on the 3rd string, and then up to the 11th on the 2nd string. And then it just follows this pattern. There's a little bit of a pattern play. Here's the whole solo slowly. And that's it. Well, there you have it, folks. Landslide by Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham and the rest of Fleetwood Mac. Hope you enjoyed this one. Please leave your comments and suggestions in the in the comments, and we'll see you down the road or something like that.